The USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, the first of four of the U.S. Navy's most recent Ford-class aircraft carriers, made the news when she departed for her first deployment on Tuesday from Norfolk, Virginia. This is significant as the U.S. Navy hasn't commissioned a new generation of aircraft carriers in almost 40 years. According to a U.S. Navy official, the USS Gerald Ford and the Carrier Strike Group will conduct operations alongside allies and partners in the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, which are the 2nd and 6th Fleet's respective areas of responsibility. Carrier Strike Group 12 Commander Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman said in a statement, "This deployment is an opportunity to push the ball further down the field and demonstrate the advantage that Ford and Carrier Air Wing (CVW-8) bring to the future of naval aviation, to the region, and to our allies and partners." In this video, Defense Updates analyzes what USS Gerald Ford brings to the table for the U.S. Navy. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by the free-to-play online military-themed strategy game Conflict of Nations, which is played by millions of players worldwide. We talk a lot about military power and tactical plans of different nations on this channel, but what about trying them out for yourself? Conflict of Nations is set in the late 20th and early 21st century, fielding present-day and highly modern battlefield technology. At the core of the game is an exciting real-time combat system, placing players in control of an existing nation of this world and its army, pitting them against other gamers in a struggle for world domination. Units are moved across the map in real time, often taking hours to fulfill their assigned mission goals, allowing for a very deep level of strategic planning and integrated tactical execution. Forming lasting alliances or short-lived coalitions is an essential part of the modern military environment. Hence, Conflict of Nations allows players to form cooperative plans and teams in an all-out effort to conquer set objectives through the combined force of arms. Conflict of Nations can be played in PC or mobile. So why wait? Register yourself using the link in the description below and get 13,000 gold reward along with 1 month Security Council membership. Nimitz-class carriers have been the face of the U.S. Navy and have enabled power projection far off from the American homeland. USS Nimitz, the lead ship of the Nimitz class, was commissioned in 1975. The Nimitz class has been able to accommodate many new technologies over the decades, but the Nimitz design has now reached its threshold. Ford-class supercarriers are being built to replace some of the United States Navy's existing Nimitz-class carriers. The first ship of this class is Gerald R. Ford. The carrier's construction officially started in November 2009, and former President Donald Trump commissioned it in 2017. 7 aspects of the supercarrier makes it an incredible asset. Let's check them one by one. On Friday, June 18, 2021, the USS Gerald R. Ford successfully completed the first scheduled explosive event as part of Full Ship Shock Trials, FSST. The U.S. military detonated a 20-ton or 40,000-pound bomb next to the new supercarrier. The explosion was so powerful that it registered 3.9 on the Richter scale. The blast is comparable to 100 modern depth charges exploding simultaneously. A blast can occur from anti-ship missiles, naval mines, torpedoes, or even other ships nearby that get hit by enemy weaponry. FSSTs include validation of almost everything, including the hardiness of onboard computer systems to nuclear reactor elements. Ford successfully completed the third and final scheduled explosive event for full ship shock trials on August 8, 2021. During the 4-month testing evolution, the aircraft carrier withstood the impact of 3 underwater explosions, released at distances progressively closer to the warship. Captain Paul Lanzalota, Ford's commanding officer, had said, "We had 0 catastrophic failures on the ship, 0 situations where we had flooding, 0 fires." Stability at sea is a key aspect of any warship, especially if it's an aircraft carrier where warplanes are supposed to launch and land. The 10 Nimitz-class carriers in today's fleet were gradually upgraded to counter modern threats. A 2005 RAND report noted that, with modernizations undertaken over the years, the ship's weight has increased and their center of gravity has risen, i.e. worsened, to the point where further increases in topside weight are unacceptable. The Ford class resets this and will ensure that the need for constant upgrades will not impact ship stability at sea. USS Gerald R. Ford uses extensive automation, and this has jacked up initial acquisition costs. But this will help to reduce the future operating cost. For example, Ford-class carriers have a total of only 2,600 sailors, about 700 fewer than a Nimitz-class. A Ford-class carrier will cost $4 billion less to operate across its 50-year lifetime than a Nimitz-class carrier. This will also mean that there will be a lesser chance of any issues or accidents due to human errors. The viewer may note that recently the U.S. Navy has suffered a series of setbacks due to collisions caused mainly due to human error. Nimitz-class carriers launch planes using steam-actuated catapults. The system requires a lot of steam piping, a large condensate return, and tons of fresh water. They tend to require quite a bit of maintenance. Plus, with steam catapults, the majority of the force gets transferred to the airplane at the beginning of the stroke, in a jolt. This puts stress on an airframe and thus reduces the lifespan of the multi-million-dollar planes. Ford class uses electromagnetic aircraft launch system, EMALS, the first to do so. The system uses a linear induction motor with an electric current to generate a magnetic field. That field then propels a carriage down the track. Since the power delivery is linear, it negates the deficiencies of the steam catapult. This also will be more suitable for launching next-generation fighters as well as drones, like Boeing MQ-25 Stingray. The current system installed in Nimitz-class carriers relies on hydraulics to catch the landing aircraft, but the system stops the aircraft with a sudden jolt. This also puts stress on the airframe and degrades the life of aircraft, especially lightweight crafts like UAVs. But Ford uses a very advanced electromagnetic landing gear, because of which the deceleration and final stop of the aircraft are smooth. Along with EMALS, AAG will help to increase the sortie rate. Ford is expected to achieve a 33% increase in sortie generation, 160 sorties per day under normal conditions, and 270 during wartime. The heart of any aircraft carrier is the nuclear reactors, which provide the required power. The Ford class has newly designed reactors. 2 Bechtel A1B nuclear reactors are installed on each Ford class carrier. Each one of these is capable of producing 300 megawatts of electricity, triple the 100 megawatts of each Nimitz class. The huge power supply enables future expansion, like inducting laser guns. Also, compared to the Nimitz-class reactor, the Ford reactors have about half as many valves, piping, major pumps, condensers, and generators, which reduce maintenance costs and lower space requirements. Ford class has a very advanced integrated active electronically scanned array search and tracking radar system. The dual-band radar, DVR, utilizes a multi-tier dual-band tracker, which consists of a local X-band tracker, a local S-band tracker, and a central tracker. The central tracker merges the two signals to provide comprehensive situational awareness. This new system has no moving parts, therefore minimizing maintenance and manning requirements. Also, the island is kept smaller by replacing 6 to 10 radar antennas with a single 6-face radar. The X-band tracker is optimized for low latency to support its mission of providing defense against fast, low-flying missiles, while the S-band radar is optimized for large area coverage. So radar is an all-arounder and is most likely the best to be deployed on a warship.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and
Kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.